I see that. All righty. I would like to call the Town of Munster meeting to order for the Town Council regular meeting here for April 15th, 2024. And I'd like to ask the clerk treasurer to please call the roll.
Councillor Schinkin.
Here.
Councillor Hopper.
Here.
Councillor Gardner.
Here.
Councillor Peterson.
Here.
Councillor Nellens.
Here.
All five in attendance this evening.
With that, I'd like to ask you to rise. We'll take a moment of silence followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. At this time, we have a LTAP award being presented to Public Works.
So I'd like to address the council. So my name is Rich Demakos. I'm with the Indiana LTAP program at Purdue University in the Lyell School of Civil Engineering. So before we start, first off, I'd like to express my gratitude for the council for giving us this moment to share in the fine work of the Munster Public Works Department. A little bit of our program is we are a technical assistance and resource program for Indiana cities, towns, and counties. We're housed within the Lyell School of Civil Engineering at Purdue University. The award in question, the award that we're here to talk about today, was presented at our 110th annual Purdue Road School on March 11th and 12th, or 12th and 13th, I'm sorry. That award is, it goes back a couple of years, but the basis of what this award is celebrating the innovations we see within local transportation across Indiana. And what that means is, as we at LTAP travel across the state, we see problems. We're here to help solve some problems. But more than that, we see really creative solutions. And so we developed this program to do a couple things. One, to identify some of those problems and to identify what solutions have been found across the state and then share those with others. Many of the issues that our public works departments face or our county highway departments face, you'll find in every community. It's the same problem. How they solve it is really amazing. And so we developed this Indiana Mastermind Innovators Program. 2 years ago, we discovered that INDOT had a very similar program within the Indiana Department of Transportation. So working with them, we partnered at Road School for the last 2 years. We combined both the innovations at INDOT with the innovations in our city, town, and counties across the state of Indiana. And we have them compete for what we call the People's Choice Award. And what that means is everybody who attends Road School votes. They see the 5 best innovations from the INDOT Innovation Champions and the 5 top innovations from Indiana cities, towns, and counties. And they vote for the one they feel is the most innovative and the most rewarding to be the People's Choice Award. And this year wasn't even close. The town of Munster won the Innovative Champion Award or People's Choice Award. And what was submitted by the town of Munster is the paving crew ambulance conversion. And in short, the problem was the crew is out there paving, they're in the heat all day. It's really difficult to send the crew back to cool off or to send them back to the shop. And what you could do with the ambulance conversion was to be able to find a respite from the heat when they're out paving. They're on that 300-degree asphalt. You got to give folks a break. Their solution was the Public Works Department noticed an ambulance, a retired ambulance that was for auction at one of the other local fire departments was auctioning it off. And this is the best part of the innovation is somebody here saw that and said, you know what that would do? And that's what starts the process. That would make a great crew vehicle or a crew work vehicle. And so then the wheels start turning. And if you notice in all of our symbolism and icons, we have gears because that's what that represents. The gears turning in somebody's head saying, I know how to fix that. And that's what you see today. The town of Munster, which is parked out front, has the paving crew ambulance conversion. All the equipment they need for the job is inside it. It's air conditioned, so the crew could take a break from the heat. They can have their lunch in there. It's a little bit of quality of life for the crew on a hot, long day when you're out paving. It's nice to just step out of the heat. And the fact that we have all the equipment on that ambulance when it shows up at the job site, well, that's just a saving for everybody, and it keeps more vehicles out of that traffic lane whenever possible. So I'd like to, if I can, present this award to the town of Munster. It's actually the Indiana Transportation Innovators 2024 Purdue Road School People's Choice Award. Okay, I would like to present it.
So it doesn't stop here though. So now we're going to national, so explain to us.
Yes. So as part of the LTAP that we are partially supported by the Federal Highway Administration, they have a national program. So there is an LTAP in every state. So every community in America has the opportunity to compete for this award. So we will submit the paving crew ambulance conversion to the Build a Better Mousetrap program with the Federal Highway Administration. That submission will happen here in the next 60 days. And we really need to dethrone the New York State LTAP's hold on this award. And I called the director of the New York LTAP today and told him we are coming. So, wish you the best of luck. We're very excited. This is a wonder. When I saw it, I thought this is a winner. This is a ringer. So.
Absolutely.
Marcus, so can we vote on this when it goes to the national level?
I wish we could. It's actually decided by folks within the Department of Transportation. They have their own criteria set. We will, what I'll do is I'll share some of the program they have. There's some information for Build a Better Mousetrap. I'll get that to Chris and he can share that with the council. It has the timelines in it, the criteria, and some of what happens to those awards when they win. And you'll notice in that booklet that every year you turn to, New York LTAP is there. So we're going to put an end to that now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So job well done.
Rich and Chris, why don't you come up here with your staff and have another picture?
You want us up there or do you want it down here?
No, you got it right
You
there.
guys are right there. Just
You want me in it?
keep there with, yes, Rich, come on. I think it's great, that a department that's really proactive and make a lot of things happen.
Well done.
Thank you.
Weston's daughter is the one that designed this whole scape on the whole ramp on the van, so I give them a lot of credit. That was their design they came up with, and that's what we used, so thank you, guys.
Great. And for those of you that may not have seen it, we do have it sitting out front. And Chris, can we keep it to the end of the meeting? All right, so that if you didn't have a chance to look it over, please look it over. It's very innovative. And to me, it looks like a brand new truck. They've done a great job refurbishing it and having their supplies and that in there. So again, Chris and Rich, thank you very much. Chris, thank you and your crew for putting this
Congratulations.
together.
Job well done.
All righty. This takes us up to the open to the public comment. And we kindly ask that all in-person public comments be limited to 3 minutes. And we do have a timer now. And comments will be timed by the clerk treasurer. Please keep your comments civil and constructive and related to public policy issues. In the event questions are posed to the council, we will note your question in the meeting minutes and we will refer the questions to the appropriate department or staff for follow-up and response. There's also public that may be submitting comments electronically. If you have a question or comment on an item on the agenda that you would like to have entered into the meeting minutes, please email that question or comment to the clerk treasurer, Wendy Miss, at wmiss@munster.in.gov. All right, before I open up the open to the public session, I would like to ask a question. Are there individuals here that may have a comment other than the Art Center? If you show of hands. I would honestly like to ask your indulgence to have them go first. We will entertain all comments that want to be made tonight. I do want to make a comment with respect to the Art Center. That art center is still under, contract, under, program with the school town of Munster. And all we're doing is just fielding questions, comments, and getting a sense of where you feel about things. We have both pro and con. And again, the art center itself is a very big decision. And if the town of Munster is able to even look at it from the standpoint, we will have to have a lot of due diligence done on it. We'll have to have appraisals done. There's a lot, it's not just a slam dunk that if it comes our way, we can acquire it. It's not that way at all. I just want to explain that to you. I know, some of the thoughts might be that it's readily available, but in all honesty, at this point, it's not. So keep that in mind. And with that, I will open up to the public comment. And I'd like to start with the Munster comments, or those that have comments other than the Art Center, if that's at all possible. So if you please come up to the podium, state your name and address. For the record, we'd appreciate that.
Yes, my name is Greg Starks-Ritchie. I live at 9501 Cottonwood Drive in Munster. I've been here before, talking about the speeding that goes on through my neighborhood. I noticed that, the town put up some, speed indicators. I don't know, they're not in service yet. It doesn't look like. I'm wondering if they could tell me when they'll get service and what they're for.
Well, we'll get that. Chris, I'll let you answer that question.
So they are in stealth. They are reading speed. We just don't want to advertise that we're seeing speed. You're taking your speed and we're taking into account some traffic. So yes, they are properly working.
Okay, you noticed one of them got knocked over, didn't you?
Yes, and we picked it up. Thank
Do
you.
you know how it got knocked over?
No, sir.
I don't know exactly, but I could surmise that, somebody, when the traffic gets backed up there, they do U-turns. And I'm thinking that that's what happened. So that brings me back to, let's do something about, Azalea. You guys are putting in, speed bumps there. I checked on the ones that you put on Southwood, can't remember the street. Those will do fine, and I hope that on Azalea, you guys put up at least 3 or 4. Now, getting back to, Camellia. The reason I'm here is because these cars that do U-turns, it gets stuck over there when the traffic's backed up. I was playing with my grandkids in my front yard, and a car went down my street like 40 plus miles an hour. And it's a short jaunt, trying to get over to the Azalea, from Camellia to Azalea. So again, I'm here hoping that you guys will put in some stop signs, put in some temporary road bumps, which I believe can be done, to kind of straighten this out before somebody gets killed. It'll be a kid. You know, the weather is warm, the kids are out playing. And when that car zipped by the front of my house, it just infuriates me even more. So I'm hoping that you can put some stop signs in there. Whatever you need to do before something bad happens. I don't want to see my tax dollars going to lawyers trying to defend the town from these accidents happening.
Certainly. Thank you very much for your
Thank
comment.
you.
Thank you.
Restart the timer. I came over here 30 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you.
1833, two things. Number one, who's responsible for taking the trees out there on Hart Ditch by Brandland and Chestnut? We're on the north side of the bridge, where the beavers did all their great work. Because they need to come down, and there's a tree that is on would be the west side of the bank. The root case between undercut, and it's a big one, and when it comes down, I don't want to lose my power for another 19 hours. Secondly, I had asked about that jog on Calumet where you're making that one thing about striping it. You need to restripe it again and use paint the last and make the stripes a little bit wider. You know, they're narrow. They're hard to see now.
Okay,
That's
So
all I
we
got.
looked into that striping. We cannot do it until the temperature of the asphalt reaches a certain temperature.
and be dry, but
Yep.
Mike, it's on our list. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, sir?
My name is Ricky Herman, 508 Evergreen Lane. I'd like to, talk about ordinance 1940. As a lifelong Munster resident, I support the Munster Police. And I think it's essential considering that law enforcement pay in Crown Point is already 20% higher. Fair compensation ensures our officers can continue vital work and be effective. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Brad Reimers. I live at 9210 Foliage Lane. I came here to tell you about my day. Started my day waking up at 6 in the morning. I took my partner out of her kennel, let her outside, prepared her food, got her brush, brushed her, put her uniform on, put my uniform on, brushed my teeth, promise. Made sure I got my kids ready for school, looked at my son who missed the bus, adjusted my schedule, got him to school, clocked in for work at 8 a.m., started working, looked at my long list of things to do for a canine fundraiser I'm responsible for, started answering calls as they came in for service, wrestled with someone that didn't want to go to jail. Thanked the town employee who happened to be going by from Public Works and assisted. Called that person's supervisor, let them know I was very thankful for their assistance. I went back to station. I started to type all my paperwork that comes with that 5 minutes of fun. I had to leave station as we had an individual who was threatening suicide by way of firearm. Sat on that call, was thankful I was the one officer that was available to cover the back of that house while the other officers tried to get the individual to come out of the front. I then went back to state, or got ready to go back to station, had to respond to People's Bank for a silent panic alarm, possibly robbery or holdup at the bank. Got there, luckily it was a false alarm. Finally cleared that, got back to station, looked at the time, ended up overtime, 15 minutes for the town, no problem. Won't be on my paycheck, won't be on my timesheet. It's just something that comes with the day. In between finishing that paperwork and that, I called my wife to make sure she got my son from school so he didn't have to wait on dad after his club was over, so he could be home on time. Apologized to him that I didn't have time to play catch. Went out, took care of other things I have to do, cut some grass, didn't get all that done. Made a list of all the things I didn't get done for the canine fundraiser and the phone calls I didn't make and the emails I didn't return. Rushed here after changing for the third time of the day to make a statement in support of taking care of our police department. Just one officer makes a difference. Good officers make a bigger difference. To get good officers here to fill our vacancies, we need to boost our pay. I understand that means tax dollars get spent. I am a citizen here. I am a resident, and I do not want to see us go from the top 5 down in safest cities. It's a job well done by our police department from the top down. And to continue, we need help. We need better pay. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Louisa Jurich. I live at 1839 Magnolia Lane, and I'm here to talk about the raises for the police department as well. I'm sure many of you know that we were recently named one of the safest cities in Indiana. Is it because of me? No. Is it because of you? No. It's because of our wonderful Munster Police Department. They work day in and day out to protect and keep us safe, as you heard Brad talk about his day. So I commend him for that, and as well as the rest of the police department. And they definitely deserve these raises. Definitely deserve it. And I hope that you will do the right thing and pass this for them, because they do deserve it. And I've been a Munster resident for almost 40 years now, and I have seen what they've done, and they've always been there for all of us in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this point, is there anyone else that has a alternate subject as opposed to the Art Center? If not, then folks with the Art Center comments, please line up in an orderly fashion. And, again, be civil and respectful. Thank you.
And remember to state your name and your address, please.
Good afternoon, Marty Bolt, 9418 Chestnut Lane, longtime resident of Munster. My thoughts are, I've looked at all the information, I've talked to a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of neighbors, I've done a lot of research, and I believe that we should not buy this building. I believe we should not get involved with private business. I believe that our money as taxpayers can go in a lot of other ways, especially in roads, as we were talking today, the great crew. It's been down Brandlin, it's a little bit of a mess. And I would just like to say that we do not need to spend millions of dollars on this building. We need to invest that in the rest to keep Munster great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Tom Jurich, 1839 Magnolia. I've been here about 40 years in this town. Great town. You know what makes this town great? People, the politicians, the people who decide to try and lead us and help us. Arts, they're okay. I like arts. I had a son who was married at the Art Center. My wife goes to plays when we had plays, no longer do it. Lunches, they're fine. But you know what? Schools, it's infrastructure. I have concern. No one has an idea on the money this is gonna cost. Nobody. Due diligence, we're talking about due diligence. Who's gonna do that? Foundation accounting, is there any one of you that are familiar with foundation accounting? Are there firms that know foundation accounting? Why is the foundation divesting themselves of this building and this organization? Why are we not having plays now? If an organization that runs plays, runs a facility like this, can't get plays in there, you guys are gonna do it? You're gonna hire people to do it? No. You know what we're gonna hire people for in this town? The police, public works. You know, the town, some of you will remember, town had a little thing called the clubhouse in Centennial Park. How's that working out for us? Huh? Is that a sinkhole or what? Literally and figuratively? Losing a lot of money there. Let's just put a wrecking ball to that one. There's a couple points I wanted to make. In the maintenance, ongoing maintenance, are we gonna hire people to run it? Where are we gonna get the budget from? I don't mind my taxes going up for police. I don't mind my taxes going up for roads. I don't mind my taxes going up for water lines that don't break. God bless those guys. They're out there in the middle of the night in winter fixing all those breaks that take place. That happens more and more than we need to. Finally, just do a little research and kind of get off subject. But with this town with over 23,000 people and 43 police officers, we're about 6 short based on what the FBI directs us to have for a town this size. We need to pay our officers. We need to hire officers. We are in an area where we have people that come to this town, try and take advantage of us being so close to the border and the expressway. God bless the police that keep us safe. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Linda Johnson. I'm at 1436 MacArthur Boulevard. I'm standing on my tippy toes here, but okay, I was not planning on speaking this evening, except I'm getting real tired of saying it over and over in my head and it not coming out to the appropriate people. So here we go. Okay. I was informed that the school town of Munster was thinking of buying, and I say thinking of buying, the CEPA March 8th. From that date until today, I have come in contact with a whole lot of people, and I mean hundreds, because I work for South Shore Arts and I also work for Trauma Catering, and I have been at a lot of events. Every single person, and I don't initiate these conversations, they ask me, what can we do to save the theater at the center, South Shore Arts, Trauma Catering? Not one person has said, yay, school town of Munster is gonna buy this building. Not one person. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you talk about due diligence. Did the school town of Munster even think to send out, which couldn't have been too hard to do, to send out a survey? Ask your community, ask your parents of the high school kids, grade school kids, elementary, Wilbur Wright, everybody in our community, ask them what their opinion is. Do we need more football? I have heard so many different, ideas that the school has. They have a lot of ideas evidently what they want to do. I just heard one the other day on WJOB that they want to make it a senior center. Okay. Okay, now what I want to say is, in conclusion, because I got 1 minute left, I hope and I pray, I really do, that our town of Munster finds some way and finds it in their hearts to at least give it a shot. And I know you'll do your due diligence. You really will. School town of Munster, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I've seen a lot of the gentlemen walking around the building going, oh yeah, these pipes need to be this needs to be this. This office looks great. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to anybody that has approached me. And that's good. I got 20 seconds left. That's not just at the CVPA, because I have a sweater that says South Shore Arts. So when I go shopping, guess what? I go all over, and those people ask me the same thing. What the hell are they doing? I'm done. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, I'm done. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow. My name's Christine Fournier. I live at 9128 White Oak Avenue. Can you hear me?
You got a little louder.
I don't
Get
talk real
closer.
loud.
Yeah,
I mean,
up there.
That's right.
I mean, I can bring out my Greek voice. Okay, I'll try. Listen, this is an emotional issue. I mean, I've listened to both sides. I sympathize with both sides. I get a lot. I mean, I used to be a president for an arts association in Kirksville, Missouri. I did it for several years. I organized a Red Barn Arts and Crafts Festival. It was a huge event. We had a university there, 2 universities actually, and we had hundreds of people come. So I know about the arts, and I was art school. But I also am very practical, and I'm a senior citizen. I'm retired. I'm on a fixed income. I don't like it when my taxes are going up. I mean, that's a concern for me. So I'm against the town purchasing that building for a number of reasons. One is I just think it's gonna cause, it's gonna be a big expense that I don't think anybody realizes at the moment. So my other concern, as I talked to Mr. Hopper about, is the streets and the sidewalks here in Munster are horrid. I have fallen 3 times. I love to walk. I walk every day, sometimes in cold weather, usually in cold weather in the wintertime. My neighbors see me out walking. They know me because I'm out walking. And my one neighbor said, I can't believe you're walking in this weather, Chris. And I said, well, I gotta get out of the house. I don't like staying in the house. I worked for years for a newspaper. And, you know, I'm used to being active. So, in conclusion, I just think that a town, I mean, the homes in this town run $40,000 to $50,000. They're expensive. For God's sake, if you want the town to look good, why not fix the streets and the sidewalks? Why not get a grant instead of the Ridge Road project, which I am furious about? And he knows, Mr. Gardner knows this because he came to my house. But why not get a grant for that? Beautify the town. Do that instead of a Ridge Road, which, what the heck are you thinking? I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Hi, I'm Carol Moore. I live at 9604 Cypress. And I'm here because I am for the town acquiring the center. And I don't work for the center. And by the way, I brought a whole bunch of friends, they all kind of wave back there. We all live in Munster and we are all interested in that center being saved one way or the other. First of all, like I said, I don't work for the center, but I belong to the South Shore Arts. I've taken classes there. I've been a subscriber to the theater. I've been to hundreds, literally hundreds of events in the dining room, weddings, showers, receptions, my daughter's prom. So basically, I've been in and out of that building once a week since it was built, since the dedication dinner back in 1986, which, by the way, we did attend. I think that it's a big mistake for the school corporation to acquire that building. They're in the business of educating students. They're not in the business of running an arts center. On the other hand, I think it would be very good for the town to be able to acquire the building because it fits logically into the park department or adjacent to the park department and the programs that they're running. And there's some very, very good cooperation there. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the Arts Center, that building, was built to house South Shore Arts. That was what Don Powers intended the building to be. And if the school corporation acquires that building, there's no guarantee that South Shore Arts will be able to continue there. And where are they going to go? Where is the symphony going to go? Where are all the ancillary programs going to be housed? I think that's a really, really good question. I think that building is an asset to Munster. And by the way, don't forget about all the vendors that might be affected if that building is sold. There are lots and lots and lots of businesses that are doing business with the various tenants in that building. And that's extra business is going to be hurt by losing that building. I think, again, it brings people into Munster. It gives us something to be proud of. And I really heartily recommend that we do something to save the building. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Maria Guerra, 3349 South Manor Drive in Lansing. The manager of Trauma Catering and spoke with you all before. It's obvious what we as a company would be losing if the school town were to purchase the CDPA. We have many employees that would be losing their job. Our partners at the theater would as well. Our neighbors at South Shore Arts and the symphony would suffer as well, you know, by being in a locked school administration building. We all bring people in the door. We all benefit from each other's customers. But beyond that, this community will suffer. Neighboring businesses will suffer. Many people have compared this to the shuttered Star Plaza Theater. But have you ever really noticed what happened in the years after? Many businesses and restaurants and gas stations suffered, many closed. I know this firsthand. Some of our friends and family and colleagues lost their jobs because of it. Hobart recently announced that they're wanting to bring a convention center there. They want to have an entertainment hub for their residents, for their workforce, for visitors to come and have something to do. We have that here, right here in Munster. And Hobart's looking to bring one there, and we're looking at closing hours. That doesn't make sense. We had 9 different events this past weekend between Thursday and Sunday, 9, okay? 9 to 12, 12 to 16-hour days where it's all fit. But we're here. We're here because this is important, and starting tomorrow, we have another 9 events this week alone. At the next, and we'll still be here at the next meeting, fighting for what's right, fighting for the CBPA, because that building and what we stand for belongs here in Munster. For us, for the community, for our future. People wonder why this building is being sold to begin with. And many unknowingly talk about the owners losing money and how could that be if it's always full? Well, I want to give a different perspective. If you've never been in there, the people that work there, we know, there's tons of offices and spaces on the first floor and, the second floor and then the lower level that are sitting empty. Empty. That's lost potential revenue right there. If the town stepped in and brought in programs for seniors or for the citizens of this town or rented to other important organizations, that's a huge potential of added revenue. Not the lost revenue that's gonna happen if we lose this place. Not the lost revenue by the restaurants and the gas stations in this town. This is something that is not just important to the people that work there, it's important to the whole community. And I hope that you can see that, and I hope that you can help, because this is important and we can't lose this place. I just want to finish really quick with a quote that I found. There's a beautiful book about community hospital. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a quote here from Tom Powers that said, and it's talking about the art center. It says, when that was first conceived, he said, this is necessary for the ambiance of our community. We want people to come here because of what we offer. A cultural center will add people, and Munster needs that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, my name is Tracy Martin. I live at 935 River Drive here in Munster. It's been an interesting couple of weeks since the news of the CVPA's imminent sale hit all of us, and we've all had a lot of feelings about it, and we've all expressed a lot of concerns. What's going to happen in the facility if we lose it? What's going to happen if we buy it? So I thought, rather than talking about something we're scared of, I thought it might be fun to talk about what's possible. So let's just think for a minute. Picture a garden, a wildflower garden of native Indiana wildflowers that's planted around the center, right around the courtyard. And we can have, there's young professional cocktail hours sponsored by the park department there. The garden is built by our elementary school environmental clubs, who are all really kicking butt right now. We have receptions there, wedding receptions that are held there. We can talk about daddy-daughter date night in a ballroom instead of in a middle school cafeteria. We can talk about, let's say, like I would really, really, really love to have a night at the theater without my kids around. Wouldn't it be great if our park district ran programming down in the basement, arts classes down in the basement while the parents are having a night at the theater, catered by Tom Catering. There are so many things we can do in that building. And I know that it seems daunting if you've not been involved in it before, but the town council is not alone. You have seen Save the CPA and other really committed people are here to help. We have grant writers in there. We have people that are really knowledgeable about arts administration. And it will be very easy for this very mobilized, energized group to convert from Save the CVPA to Friends of the CVPA, who would be a fundraising arm for you that will help you fill every single room in that building with programming that will bring in significant development taxes, dollars, grants, federal earmarks. There are so many ways to get money out of that building if you preserve it. And you can expand your programming in ways you wouldn't believe. Oh my goodness, the seniors, I had no idea how much they loved that theater. Think about a special program just for them there. Discounted programs for Mommy and Me in the ballroom, snow day art classes. There's so much we can do. And we're here to help. I will volunteer my time for this because it matters to me that much, because this is my town and I love it. And I want it to be a place that we move to, a place that's inclusive of the arts. It's the kind of community that so many people want to live in, and we'll do what we need to do to make it that way. That's it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Jacobs. I live at 2543 Hickory in Dyer. I wanted, just as you guys are considering this option, to go over there's a few examples of public-private partnerships in other cities and towns that you might be able to kind of look to see if they're a good model for Munster. In Carmel, Indiana, they have the Palladium Theater, which was a public-private partnership where the town brought money to the table and they work together and have a really rich arts community down there. Similar, Fishers, Indiana has an arts and municipal complex that's being built right now. And got economic development grants to go with that. The Shipshewana Blue Gate Theater, that's a new one that just opened in 2020, and it's beautiful down there. And they worked with their town and the private owner of the restaurant down there to create the big theater that they have now. Elkhart has the Lerner Theater. South Bend has the Morris Center. And up in Lake Forest, Illinois, one of the fanciest suburbs there is, Sterling Hall Arts Center. So I just wanted to make the point that a lot of really nice communities are investing in the arts because they see it as economic development. And once you create that kind of a partnership, you can go after big grants, big money. There's a couple available in our area, the Indiana Destination Development Corporation, and also the Ready Grant. These are big piles of money that they're looking for projects just like this to fund. So just wanted you to keep that in mind. And I will second what Maria said about the Star Plaza. You don't want this to turn into that. You know, you have an opportunity to enrich this community, to bring really great people, affluent audiences into this town to spend their money in the stores, in the restaurants, in the hotels. If you get rid of that, you're going to see that impact in other places. There will be that ripple effect. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Barbara Whitaker, 1921 Alta Vista. I've lived here for 25 years. I've been active in politics, and quite frankly, because I think I keep up on what's going on in this town. And I was shocked to never heard a peep about this until it came out in the Northwest Indiana Times. And now I keep hearing it's a done deal. The school's got it. We can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. I don't accept that. I'm looking in my Northwest Indiana Times now. I sent all of you this copy of this article. Ready grants you're talking about money. Money is there. We're not looking for it. Ready grants from the Lilly Foundation, 45 million, 300 or 500 million. These are for culture, public culture and arts, the development or improvement of museums, performing arts, venues, and others. Where were we? Why didn't we go after this? Where were we, Munster? People are concerned about money, and rightfully so. And especially, and I've been advocating, as you know, for a senior center. We do not have a senior center in Munster. They have one in Griffith, they have one in Highland. The thing we call a senior center here, the social center, is pathetic. Go into those washrooms. Those washrooms are not up to our standard in Munster. Now, I'll tell you what I love about Munster. If you talk about art, okay, I'm a retired, by the way, I'm also a retired teacher. And I appreciate the police. My brother was a police officer, worked undercover narcotics, so I get it all. That's important. But Munster, you know what's great about Munster is the public art that we have. When you walk out of this room, look at that tulip right there. Our little lowly garden club paid for that tulip. Other cities around, towns around here do not value the arts. That doesn't seem in the whole total picture of things. It's important. It's not important, but it is important to our town. People will move here and stay here. And by the way, we as seniors pay a lot of taxes and live in one house. We don't use the schools, but we pay for them because we value them. And we value the arts. And we value the culture. And that makes Munster special. With no other community around here values the arts. But if we lose this place, and I don't understand why we didn't get this grant money. Time's up.
Thanks.
I'm Kevin Capo, 633 River Drive. I appreciate the arts. I like the arts. I would like to see the center stay. When I look at the purpose of local government, it's for safety and protection. It's infrastructure and utilities, create a level playing field, support and serve the community, and effectively use what resources we have. I think it would be fine if we support somebody that takes over the art center to keep it, but I don't believe the town should take and run that. It's not part of the basic tenets of what the local government needs to take care of first. For a different meeting, not here, I don't think a school district that comes and begs for $20 million every few years and extra referendum should be buying that either. But that's a different meeting.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Straka, 1845 Azalea Drive, Munster, and I am a business owner at 227.5 Ridge Road in Munster. I had not planned to speak tonight, but after listening to several people and their comments, I felt compelled to speak. I am a firm believer that how it happens, I'm not sure, but the Performing Arts Center is an asset to our community. With the train coming, and the beautification of our town and the road projects that are anticipated. The Arts Center is going to bring nothing but good people to the area to spend money for culture. I'm not sure how we do it, but I am in support of keeping it. I'm a fan of some of the other communities. I have very good friends that live in Lake Forest, and the train has done nothing but improve their community and their Arts Center. The belief that the school or the town should purchase it, I'm not sure. That would have to be a decision looked at very carefully because our money will go to it no matter what. There are foundations that can run it. There may even be private entities willing to buy it. I just attended an outstanding event at the Performing Arts Center this past Saturday, a wedding, and they do a fine job there. They keep the place running and people happy as far as trauma catering goes. The staff is excellent. The building itself may need some improvements. It has been dated, but there's room for improvement there. The one thing that compelled me to speak tonight is I want to squelch a rumor that has been going around town, and it has been going around town for a while, that the plan is to sell the Performing Arts Center and put another hotel in Munster. I would like someone to confirm or deny that for us.
Never heard it.
Never heard it, honestly.
It's been going around. That's since they started tearing down buildings along there. That's what they've been talking about. And I heard it recently. So that is my concern. But I do hope that with all the great minds in the town of Munster, all the smart people, all the money, that we do find a way to preserve the Performing Arts Center in a way that's equitable to all citizens and surrounding communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Monica Rodriguez. I said mine before. You want to read any of an article that I wrote, it's under Munster CVPA. I just wanted to add a little something to trauma catering. Sometimes I wish there was a glass window there. Because as I said, food, presentation, taste, we are arts. The workers there use their hands. You don't see that filet mignon being cut by a huge piece of beef. You don't see the chickens that are cut precisely, perfect for everyone. It is an art. We use our hands. Trump Catering deserves to be there because they've been giving their hands for years since the building opened. I think Chef Hugo, Maria, all of us, we do and work above to keep everyone happy. I believe there has never been one incident that anyone has said that it was bad. And I hope we can save it some way, whatever. If I hit the lotto and I hit millions, I'll fight for it. Okay? Say reverend. But, that's what I wanted to say. I want them to know that farm catering is an art, because I wish you could see what goes behind every crate, every egg, everything there is made. You don't buy frozen things and throw it on your plate, okay? None of that. Everything is made with hand. And that's all I wanted to say. I wish I could show pictures of the governor, and I wish I could show you the pictures of mayors and everyone, but I don't want to get in trouble putting them out there as they shake your hand, as they tell you this was marvelous. And they continue to come back from all different areas. So that's all I wanted to add on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and close the open to the public session. I appreciate all the comments. And as was earlier mentioned, that, it's a long road and we don't have any, freeway up to the top. And again, I appreciate all your comments. I know I've said that before, but we do appreciate it. And it's just something that we'll have to see what happens. So thank you very much.
President, we've received 49 emails in support of the town investigating the possibility of involvement in the CBPA, and we received 4 emails that were not in support.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll return to the meeting agenda. We're up to the consent agenda, item number 1.
Take a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further comments? Seeing none, Ms. Miss, would you call the roll?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to old business. And we're looking at ordinance 1936.
This is the ordinance to adopt put the water bond and the water bond anticipation note into place. We had first reading on it at the last meeting. The anticipation is that once it's adopted, term sheet will go out and we will look to get a bond anticipation note and then in a year issue the bond.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 1936 as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yep.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. It takes us up to ordinance 1937, which is the sewer bond ordinance.
So like the water bond ordinance, this one is for the sewer. The only difference with this one is once the ordinance is adopted, there will be an advertisement that begins a 20-day objecting period. Once that passes, then it will issue the bid.
Mr. President, I'm going to make a motion to, and I need assistance here because the memo, I'm not sure I'm reading this memo correctly. Ms. Abbott, are we?
We're looking for a motion to adopt ordinance 1937 as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 1937 as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Now we're at new business. First one is resolution 2129.
So this is a resolution looking for authorization to sign NDOT documents. Last week, we were notified that our community crossings grant, we were awarded the number $843,000. This is to do work on Highland Place, Meadow Lane, Linden, and Independence Parkway. In order to get the grant, we have to sign contracts with NDOT. NDOT requires a resolution authorizing someone, in this case, we're naming the county president, to sign those documents.
Mr. President, I would make a motion that we approve resolution 2129 as presented.
Motion, we have support?
Second. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, we'll take George on this one, and we'll get Counselor Hopper to
Joe will
step up to the next.
All 30, because that's my old neighborhood, Independence Park.
Any further discussion,
Yes.
comments? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
I do need all 5 counselors to sign this before you leave this evening, and there are multiple copies, so.
Thank you.
Okay. That takes us up to ordinance 1938.
So this is for additional appropriations, the permission to spend. There's 2 funds that we're seeking an additional appropriation, and one is the Cumulative Capital Development Fund. And this is to allow permission to spend the grant money that we will be receiving back for the baby box that the fire department is in the process of installing. And the other is for the Solid Waste Management Fund. As you'll be discussing later in the meeting, there's a need to make some repairs to the leachate pumping system. And so we're going to need permission to spend the money in order to go forward with that. So this requires first reading on the ordinance itself. At your next meeting, you'll be asked to hold a public hearing and then adopt the ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to hear proposed ordinance 1938 for additional appropriations on first reading and schedule a public hearing and second reading for May 9th, 2024.
Do we have support?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion, support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss, please call.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. All right, that takes us up to ordinance 1939. Credit card authorization.
Yes, during recent staff changes, we were trying to update the account to get the cards issued in the correct names. And our credit card carrier closed down the entire account and told us that they couldn't open it up again unless we reapplied. With the need to have a credit card in place, we went to our bank. They issued credit cards, so this ordinance is in part to authorize the use of those credit cards for the clerk treasurer, the interim town manager, the park director, and the police chief. Since this ordinance was put together, we realized that we also need to be including the fire chief. So for a second read, we will be asking to amend the ordinance to include the fire chief as well.
All right, we have support for this.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to hear ordinance 1939 on first reading as presented and schedule second reading for May 9th, 2024.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to ordinance 1940. That's the amendment to the 2024 salary ordinance.
Yes, and there are a number of changes being proposed for the salary ordinance. First of all is to change the longevity schedule, which will go to a flat $250 a year for all regular full-time and regular part-time employees, beginning with the first day of service. Will max out at 25 years or $6,250. The pay matrix for the police officers is being asked to be amended, where the first class patrolman's hourly rate will be moved up to $39.32, depending on how many years of service a particular officer has. This represents between a 6 and a 21% increase. For sergeants, the rate will go up to $44.60 for all sergeants, regardless of the number of years. This represents between a 5 and a 15% pay raise for each of them. The lieutenants will go up by $5,000 a year, which is about a 5% increase. And then the chief's rate will go up 21% increase, which is about $25,000. All steps within the grades are being removed. Right now, it's based on how many years of service you have. Those are all being removed, regardless of your number of years of service. You'll get the same hourly rate. The rates are scheduled to go into effect June 21st. This coincides with when we anticipate the new police vehicles coming in, and the conversion of the longevity schedule. The first class patrolman's rate will increase from $84,126 to $88,035. Pension board is working right now to find out how that impacts our current pensioners that are receiving payments from the town. The vehicle stipend is being removed in favor of a take-home vehicle program. At your next meeting, you'll be asked to adopt the take-home vehicle policy, and that will be made part of this ordinance by direct place. In addition, we're asking that for some additional positions to be added or removed. We're looking for a maintainer one position assigned to public works that would serve as a janitor at the town hall and police station. We need an additional administrative secretary in the town manager's office and an additional benefit specialist in the town manager's office, and be moving an administrative assistant in the town manager's office. We also are looking for an additional deputy clerk 3 in the clerk's office. An apprentice mechanic would be added to the public works department, and a deputy controller in the clerk treasurer's office. Different exhibits are being updated to conform with these, and all the other provisions of the original salary ordinance would remain in effect.
All right, do we have support for this?
Yeah. Council President, I'd like to make a motion to consider ordinance 1940 on first reading and schedule second reading for the next regular meeting on May 9th, 2024.
We have support.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion, we have support, comments?
I guess my first question is, how did we come up with the different pay amounts? Did we do research with other departments? Is this, how did we come up with these numbers?
My understanding is the police department developed those numbers. They were given to me to put into the ordinance.
I'll comment. My understanding is this is going out into the communities around us, and one of the communities that was used as the example of where we would like to be eventually was St. John's.
Mr. Chairman, I will echo that understanding, and I've independently reviewed the St. John's salary ordinances. And it is unfortunate to report that Munster is significantly less. And I will share an anecdote. In fact, there's two anecdotes I will share. The first one relates to a conversation that I had with a Munster police officer last fall. I spoke with this officer. I was asked to do so. And it was my understanding that this officer was considering a move to St. John. I did speak with this officer, and I encouraged the officer to please consider staying with Munster. And I asked the officer why the officer was planning to move, and I was told candidly, it's the salary. So I looked into this, and I confirmed that Munster's salary is not where it needs to be. And I'm pleased to report that that officer did elect to stay with us in anticipation of this salary ordinance being passed. I have another anecdote to share. This is from my experience as a business owner. I own my law practice. I'm here in Munster at the corner of 45th and White Oak. And I have unfortunately learned the severe consequences when your salaries are out of whack. And the consequences are as follows. You experience a sudden catastrophic loss in staff. The fact that I had a candid conversation with a Munster police officer who advised me that this officer was planning to leave because of salaries suggests to me that if one officer is talking with me, there's probably anywhere from 5 to 10 that are thinking this. And I understand probably better than most what happens when these salaries are out of whack. This ordinance is a movement to bring us back into scale with what other communities are offering so that we don't have that sudden and catastrophic loss of officers. I speak in support of the ordinance, and I will vote in favor of it today.
Council President, can I answer this question? What they've done is they got rid of all of the year-based steps and moved everyone up to the highest level in the grade. And then we're removing the vehicle allowance And we're taking that $5,000 that people would get annually, and we're putting an hourly rate to $2.40 and adding that to their base pays as well. So that's how they got the numbers for each of the two levels.
It was a couple of years ago that the rest of the town, again, the 2019, the police department received a raise and went to this type of strategy, right?
We did.
The three. And it was after that that we heard from a lot of other employees in the town. And we went, and then we actually went and put the rest of the employees on the same pay style. From what I'm hearing now, it sounds like that system's out of whack. And is it important that we look at our other town employees at the same time to make sure that they have the same opportunity for this kind of rearrangement of salaries? If in fact we have one department that's having some issues, is it worth the opportunity to look at other departments at the same time?
Councilor Gardner, I've had a discussion here in the town hall about having a salary survey taking place. The one group that would not be included would be the police department, because this is being taken care of now. Yes, we are looking at all the other departments, plus keep in mind the longevity is for all employees in the town. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and we want to take a look at all of them.
I guess the other thing I want to be clear on, we've only looked at one town, other town. The other towns that are similar to us in size and our neighboring towns, we have not looked at their salaries at all.
I believe they looked at a number of towns.
Because I do think when we did compare the 2023 salary ordinances and the 2 or 3 other towns that had similar type structures for us, that, you know, first class patrolman, second class patrolman, third class patrolman, we were very competitive, if not above some of the other departments. And while I certainly understand the concern of our department or our officers leaving, we've had 23 total officers leave in the since 2016. 3 of them were for medical reasons. So let's say in fact we had 20 people leave. 10 of those officers retired, 2 relocated to other places, and then actually 3 or 5 resigned. So again, in the last 7 or 8 years, we've had 3 other people go to other departments. One went to St. John back in 2016, and then the other 2 recently left. I think it was, 2 other local towns. So again, there is a concern, but I think we should also be looking at these other towns when we look at this full salary ordinance with this.
With that, Councilor Gardner, I'm going to make a comment. Number one is Munster is a unique community. We want it to remain a unique community. Yes, we did be listed as the 5th safest community in the state of Indiana. But again, that doesn't come easily. We've got police officers that put forth a lot of effort. And we are short of officers. And when we put the shingle out that says we're looking to hire new officers, the numbers that come in are very limited. We had one hire here just recently, and that one didn't work out, went to the academy and decided this wasn't for him. And I guess I'm going to make a comment, and I learned this from my dad a long time ago. What is your life worth? What do you feel it's worth to spend in terms of being taken care of? He was using an example of tires. You go into the tire shop and they say you need to have tires, and they point out the problem, and they say it's $500 to replace the tires. And you might go, oh, that's a lot of money, especially back in the day in the 60s. But he would say, David, what's your life worth? And I'm going to throw that on the table here with our police officers. What is your safety and security and feeling that you're safe? We are not, unfortunately, an island to ourselves. We are not in the middle of a cornfield someplace. We have a lot of communities around us. We have folks that are coming in outside the area, Illinois, that are causing problems here. And again, I want to make sure that our police department is up to strength. We're having problems getting there. And at some point, I'd like to ask for more officers. that's just, again, that's my comments. That's how I feel about this. I'm very supportive of this ordinance.
And nothing in my questions or any kind of comments, do I want to de-emphasize what the police mean to our town. The police are a very important part of this town, and they do a wonderful job. I guess my concern is if we are looking for new officers, the two different categories that we have for our lowest officers, which I believe are the probationary police officer and the second-class police officer, we are not providing any raises in this ordinance for those officers. Is that by design, or is that just an overlook? So when we advertise our entry-level position for police officers, this ordinance that's giving 21% raises, 15% raises, we are not looking at any raises for probationary police officers or second-class police officers, which would be the advertised rate.
Councilman, that the first-class patrolman, if they have experience in another community or state, they would start out as a first-class officer.
So we're really looking just to hire other officers from other departments. Because, again,
We're
again,
we're looking to hire officers.
right, but we're not,
When you have 3 applicants and you send them to the academy after they pass their background and they don't make it through the academy, I think it pretty much sums up the dire straits for it.
I certainly understand that, and the numbers back 5-10 years ago, probably even higher, 25, 30, 10 years ago, probably maybe 100 people were applying, weren't they, Chief?
We had way over 100 applications for one position.
Yeah.
Up until the Black Lives Matter, COVID, and then we just can't attract people.
Wouldn't it be wise, again, I know last year we had at least one of the officers that went through our training and that person ended up going to Griffith, or maybe that was 2 years ago. That was a probationary or a person that went to the academy. Again, wouldn't we, is it worth looking at our probationary and our first class officers going a little bit higher or no?
Probationary is 1 year. And even if we hire someone in as first-class officer, there's still 12-month probationary period. However, we have to send them through the academy and bear that expense of a year of them being off the road before they can answer calls for service by themselves. That's the difference. So they know they'll start at probationary salary if we have to send them through the academy, but after a year, they'll be first-class patrolman.
Okay. Have we looked at what funds these funds are coming out of, or have we done that type of review? I know we are looking at the TIP financing mechanism. Are we looking to get that report back by the next meeting?
The report actually came in today,
Okay.
so have not had a chance to really go through it yet. At first blush, it was going to have to be coming, we're going to have to start relying on the TIP fund. The general fund is not going to be able to support it.
Are these raises going to affect any other employee raises throughout the rest of this year or going into next year? The reason why I asked that is it looks like these raises are about 400 to 500,000, maybe $400,000, and that's without the longevity pay in there. That's the total amount of our raises that we gave all 100 employees last year, going from 2023 to 2024. Are we going to be able to look the eye, and even to the police department at the end of this year and say, you're still going to be able to get a raise, or other departments?
I cannot say with certainty, but I'm doubtful that we would be able to give raises next year. It will have serious impact on the finances. We'll be fine this year. It's going to cut into the reserves that we have. What the long-term implications are, it will eventually mean, particularly if you're talking about adding more officers, it will mean making some hard decisions down the road in terms of what the town can and cannot do. It has serious ramifications for the town's financial health.
And again, that's, excuse me, not to interrupt, but that's something that will have to be studied. That's something that we have to.
Mr. Chairman, I move the question. It's a Robert's Rules of Order motion. I think Mr. Wesson might need to help guide us through that.
Call the question. I have a couple more things to say, but ask.
Do I need to second it?
No,
Okay.
but the chair's gotta make a rule.
Counselor Gardner, I'm gonna ask that you ask those questions afterwards with our controller, interim town manager, and also with our clerk treasurer, and I'd like to help assist with that. You want to make sure you get your answer.
I think there's some serious questions that I think would be good to still ask. And I do think they, kind of revolve around the other employees in the town of Munster. And I would like, again, I totally support the police department. They do a wonderful job. But just tonight, we heard.
Mr. Chairman,
we
point
just-
of order,
we just heard-
point of order, Mr. Chairman. I move the question. When the question is moved, debate ends. I call the question and I ask that we submit this to a vote. I think the chair has offered a reasonable alternative, Mr. Gardner. I ask that this matter be put to a vote.
Yeah, I still think there's something that we should discuss, but I'll go back to Robert's rules if that's the quorum of the council. If
We try to follow it.
But you also have the opportunity to say, we're not gonna close discussion.
I understand. Mrs. Miss, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Schinkin,
Yes.
Counselor Hopper,
Pass if you want.
Pass.
Counselor Gardner,
No,
Counselor Peterson,
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
We can come back. Counselor Hopper, would you like to vote?
Yes. Yes.
All right, that takes us up to item number E, which is the leach aid disposal system repairs.
So at the landfill, there's a leachate system. Leachate is the natural byproduct that comes off of decomposing trash in essence. And there's a system that pumps it out. And staff was alarmed that they received an alarm that told them that the system was not functioning properly. We need to get that repaired. It's going to cost $88,540.25. So we're asking for permission to get it repaired and to pay the vendor.
Do we have support for this?
Mr. Chairman, I move to. Sorry. Having readers. I make a motion to approve the HD Mechanical Inc. proposal number 24-1089, Rev-1 dated March 22nd, 2024, is presented to be paid from the Solid Waste Management Fund and authorize the council president to execute accordingly.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there further discussion? Again, this is down at the landfill, and it's something that we are, one, required to make sure that it's functioning properly and that everything is taken care of. So we do get inspected from wherever, from time to time on probably a yearly basis. We want reports and know where we're in. So with that, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
yes,
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a moment to confer with council, please?
Yes.
Mr. Westman, would you approach? There's 4 people.
I don't.
Okay, very good. Mr. Chairman, I confer with council. Thank you for the indulgence. Please proceed.
Okay. That takes us up to, item F, environmental liability insurance.
So this is a 5-year policy that provides extra coverage in case of an environmental incident within town. It's primarily applies to our storage, our gasoline storage tanks, those kinds of things. Again, 5-year policy. And it's with Beasley Insurance that's who's providing our current coverage. So we're looking for authority to bind the coverage and make the payment.
Council President, I want to make the motion to authorize the council president to find coverage for environmental liability coverage with these.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Okay, item number G. Let you go through that.
So we have, this is the updating, software agreement that we have. We use a software called Trello to maintain our agenda for the different council and redevelopment commission meetings. They have changed their, pricing as well as the actual agreement and how they'll handle the data. Costs about $600 a year to have the software. We're asking for council to approve the agreement and to authorize the payment.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the updated Atlassian customer agreement and data processing addendum and authorized payment.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item H, purchase of a truck with a plow.
So Public Works ordered a truck and then they Chevrolet canceled the order. And so they've gone out again. And they've managed to get another truck, and they're looking for authority to purchase it. It will come from the 2022 general bond, and the winning bid was from Garber Chevrolet.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve 2024 Chevrolet 3/4 ton 4x4 truck with a V plow purchase for a net price after trade-in of $41,933.25 from Garber Chevrolet to replace unit 317.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All right, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yep.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item I, disposal of surplus equipment.
This is a list of some equipment and things that we have, and we need council to declare them surplus to allow us to actually dispose of them.
Mr. President, I would vote to declare the listed equipment surplus as in the agenda as authorized and authorize its disposal.
I'll second that. We could give it to Councilman Joe down here. He'll take it.
Mr. Coffee.
You can get them to work.
Now, but we're following the regulations as to what we have to do as a municipality, so. All right, we have a motion from George?
No.
No.
Chuck.
Chuck, all right.
Joe second.
All right, thank you. I was, any further discussion or questions? I'll, borrow a phrase from a prior, town attorney that would say this is de minimis. But we still have to follow the rules, so. All right, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item J, 2024 paving and water main bid award.
So we are looking to do what I think of as the big water project. We'll be replacing water mains on Chestnut, Holly, Camellia, and White Oak, as well as paving work on Franklin Parkway. This project is the main reason why we were going after that water bond that Councilor approved earlier. That will be funding this project with the exception of Franklin, which doesn't get water main work. The bids came in, Reeve Riley is the apparent winner. Our engineer went through, tabulated the bid, and that's who's recommended as being awarded.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Reeve Riley Construction Company Inc. bid for a total cost of $5,197,079.33 for the 2024 paving and water main project as recommended by our engineer SEH.
We have support.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have support. Any further discussion? Quite frankly, based on that dollar amount, this is a substantial project for the infrastructure here in Munster.
Yes, it is.
All right, Mrs. Miss?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
And Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Do we have any reports? Seeing none, any portfolio reports tonight? Seeing none announcements, all town council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. May 9th will be the regular town council meeting and regular redevelopment commission meeting.
Mr. President, I could just ask, the people that are here from the Munster Civic Foundation, can you raise your hands? So we will try to meet in room A next door immediately, about 10 minutes after the next redevelopment commission meeting. The redevelopment commission meeting will go about 2 or 3 minutes. So we'll be meeting in conference room A, around 8:40. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the folks that are here for the Civic Foundation. Looking for an adjournment?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
We have support. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, that takes us up into our next meeting, the redevelopment commission, regular meeting.
Hello, John.
Call it to order. Yes, crew is here.
Yeah, Gordon.
Yeah, nice to meet you. You can just kind of hold us down, just. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Here, let's go on the meeting.
Commissioner Roberts.
Be about 2 minutes.
Commissioner.
This will take.
Commissioner Hopper.
Here.
Commissioner Gardner.
Here.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Nellens.
Here.
And our designee from the school, John Castor.
Okay. All right, is there anyone that would wish to speak on public comment here for the redevelopment commission? Anyone else anyone would like to speak there in public comment for the redevelopment commission? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment. Takes us up to the consent agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion, comments? Seeing none, Mrs. Miss?
Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopper.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes. All right, no old business, no new business. Any reports? No announcements, motion for
I'll
adjournment.
make that one too.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
That concludes the meetings.
Your input was invaluable.
Don't forget to sign. I need your signatures, counselors.
Have a great night, everybody.
Chuck, I'll let you go. If you want to sign it first.
If you needed a photo, this is the time for photos.
Photo opportunity.
So, great. Okay, there's a great page.
Here, I'll let you sign.
That needed it.
That could come up again. And, my understanding, when I look at it, I would say around 2/3. That passes in 4 votes, if they have any questions before council. And then you gotta vote on it. I'm gonna ask for a second. Yeah, that's kind of how I view it. Okay, and again, you'd be the one to call it a stand. You're acting as attorney parliamentary. So if that's your interpretation, that's probably good. I mean, this is nuance here that I hope we never have to get involved with, revisit. And if this is an important nuance. I just wanted to.
I'd like someone to say hello.
Yeah, no, I want the way. That. That's